So the emotional scale, this is a real fun topic at the moment. If you think about your emotions today, whereabouts would you place yourself on the scale? And what most people don't realise that their emotions have a vibration. So I think these are in hertz. So when you're at an emotion of fear, you're vibrating it only at 100. But when you're when you're angry at something, you're actually vibrating at a higher frequency. And then when you're courageous, you're 200. And when you're willing, you're 300, acceptance 350. And if you're at the state of love and joy, you're 500 and 540. There's a saying out in the world at the moment saying you want to live at love and above. So that's 500 and above. And what most people don't realise is when they're getting angry about a subject, they're actually becoming less afraid of it. So they're more likely to move on to, actually, I might do something about it. So it's about being aware that we do have this massive range of emotions and how those emotions affect our everyday life. So we have the emotional scale. And if someone came in really angry at me today, like, do you know what, you're just the most annoyingest person in the world, I say, okay, what can we do about it? And they say, well, do you know what, I'm really proud of myself for doing this today, and I didn't do it without you. And I said, great, you've just upped this emotional scale. Say, what else? And you say, well, you know what, because you've accepted that I'm really proud of myself for doing this, I might be willing to do something else. I say, okay, let's learn something else. Then we move back up again. So they're always reaching for that better feeling place. So it's about learning how to ask yourself the right questions to start feeling more and more better about each situation. So that's kind of the emotional scale. Came up with this just recently, types of emotional support. And the best way to kind of describe it all is you can get the help you need from a personal development book. But with that, you can pick it up and put it down whenever you want. You never have to finish it. So you may never reach that perfect self that you're always seeking for. Or you can go to a counsellor, which you can go and sit down and talk about your problems, but for some reason people find it quite intimidating having that one-to-one and it just being about them and their problems. So this is where the equine assisted therapy comes in, because it's kind of middle ground. It's about speaking to the horse, but me asking the questions. So it takes the focus completely off you, because I'm looking at the horse, to what the horse is doing, and people don't even have to share what problems they're going through. They just think, I just say to them, answer your questions, answer my questions to the horse, and I'll just ask them. And from that, they're able to reveal a lot about themselves. Some people say, do you know what, I'll come down anyway, but I'm feeling pretty fine. And then they stand in front of the horse, and I say, pick a memory, any memory. And they pick a memory, and I ask the questions, and then suddenly it's just like the light bulb switch on. Oh, I didn't realise I felt this way about this. That's fine. We can just ask a few more questions, and then people build up the barrier, and they say, no, I don't want to talk about it, I'm absolutely fine, it will be okay, it won't matter at all. But what they don't realise is that them worrying about it, them being in those lower vibrational states, will then mean that they're putting their health more and more at risk. So, by asking the questions, I'm then able to help them reach that relief state, even if it's just relief from their problems. And they're able to work up, just even if it's the next couple of notches up the emotional scale. Good. So from yes, that's that bit. So place the problem and place the solution. What most people don't realise is the problem is over here and the solution is over here. I don't know if you've ever experienced where you've been really angry about something not working and you just get so annoyed about it, and then suddenly you just say, okay, and walk off. And as soon as you walk off, someone walks in and presses the right button and says, oh, there you go, there's the point. And that's because that person was at a completely different state, and so they're able to bring the solution. So what I try and teach people to do is be able to, like themselves, go from that problem state to that solution state. So be able to change their thoughts around, saying, do you know what, I'm really not enjoying that this isn't working. but a solution will come at some point. And by just kind of taking that internal breath, some kind of thought will come in, or they will meet the right person, and this kind of the solution comes into their life. So it's about, most people don't realise that when they're getting really stuck on a problem, focusing more and more on the problem is keeping them more and more in that place. And what we need to do is say, I recognise the problem, I see the problem, let's look in a different direction for a moment, and we can start finding the solution. So building on from self-approval and self-worth, it's also, I know I mentioned it earlier, but it's about creating a conversation with you and you. Like I said earlier, the choice of words you have with yourself, I doubt you would even say to your friends. So it's kind of important about changing that internal conversation you have with yourself, to start empowering yourself, to start you having the courage to go for that extra mark in life, go for that job you always dreamed of, things like that. And the interesting part is people say during the session, like, I'm being really selfish though, thinking that I'm a good person. I'm being really selfish thinking that, you know, I'm okay. And I'm like, selfish is where we want you to be. Because if you weren't looking after you, how would you then be able to give anything to anybody else? And that's what we all want to do. We want to give to others, but we can't give anything if we don't have anything ourselves. And the best way to kind of think of it is a cup. You've got a cup in front of you. And if you never fill that cup up, you just give and give and give and give, and at some point that cup will empty. Then you can have a cup where it's constantly like pouring in, and you have it overflowing. How about you having that cup and then giving the overflow to everybody else? Then you're never running kind of dry. You're always able to give because you've got plenty to give to people. And so life then kind of becomes more fluid in a way. So it's about building that ability to keep topping yourself up, going to people, do you know what, I'm going to just have 10 minutes doing something that I really value. And by doing that, you'll feel better about yourself, so your cup fills up, and from that, you're able to then say, do you know what, I'll spend the next hour giving, I'll be able to do this job for you, this job for you, and this job for you. And also, from that, what most people don't realise is, a lot of people by focusing on the problem, they do the self-help books, and they do about 20 of them if you're really passionate about sorting yourself out. But they never fill in what they want to do. They're always working on the problems. Oh, I remember that memory. I wasn't this person, I wasn't this person, I wasn't this person. And people forget to start writing, okay, but now I want to be this person, and this person, and this person. So what we do is we start by goal setting. Now, from school, people kind of may think this is a laborious task. But if once a month you set yourselves 5 minutes before you went to bed and say, do you know what, with my family relationships over the next month, I want to be able to talk to my family once a week. In my social life, I want to actually go into this new social circle. Financially, I want to be able to start saving. And by setting yourself just these little minuscule targets, you'll start to shift the path you're on, and you'll soon realise that 3 to 4 months later, hang on, I've just saved a load of money here, what should I do? Do you know what, I'll go on holiday. That would be good fun. So you get to do that dream holiday you've always wanted. So it's about teaching people to start focusing and creating the life instead of carrying on having a conversation about what's wrong with their life. Well, let's do something about it. Let's make these small little changes to start creating the life that will make you happy and will be more fulfilled. Why use a horse? So I've said that 90% of what we say isn't through our mouth. And when I use the horse really has the ability to see those subtle changes that I can't see. So when you're not telling me something, like lying to me, I can be like, well, it might be telling the truth, it might be not. But if you're saying, no, I'm completely fine with this subject, it's absolutely fine. I'm saying, yes, but why is the horse running around the round pen? And they're like, So the horse gives you the chance to, do you know what, for this point, I won't lie, I'm not too happy with this part of my life. And say, okay, fine, we can sort it out. So it's they're able to sort of see those really subtle changes within you. And from that, I can then build up and ask the questions that say, okay, let's just kind of shift your thought process on this. And most of all, when they come into the round pen and you come with the things that you want to work on, they're not coming with an opinion or any judgment. They're just living, mostly eating grass for the most part of their life. So when they come in and you're just sharing your story, either to the horse or to me, there is no judgment from the horse. The horse is just like, okay, but you're still the person. You're just a human being, hopefully a human being with food. And so that's really comforting for some people, because they're expecting that someone's going to come in with a load of opinion, yeah, but do you know what? You shouldn't be thinking that. And I don't know, for girls talk, and if you sit around your friends and you share a problem, you get an opinion of everybody, even probably everybody in the room. And it can be very complex and very confusing, but actually the only answer that really matters is the one you give yourself. Like, you may be searching for an answer. I've had recently a lady come and she was searching for an answer from everybody else. And I said, the answer, we can never satisfy you. No matter what we say, we can never satisfy you. And then she found the answer she was searching for from herself, and that gave her the satisfaction, the approval, the self-worth she was looking for. So it's about helping people to look inside of themselves to find the answer, rather than asking everybody else. So benefits some people gain. The main one is relief. People walk away, even if it's for the next 2 hours, where they just feel like they've taken a breath for the first time. The weight's been lifted off their shoulders. They're able to just share whatever's been their problem for quite some time, and hopefully go away with a solution and some new skills and tools that they can use to kind of start creating and making changes so that no longer affects them. So other people have commented benefits on overcoming fear, self-confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, communication, social skills, empowerment, responsibility, self-awareness, respect, decision-making. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I was first learning to be around horses, decisions were a nightmare. I think, well, I'll do this, but I'll do this. And horses really sharpen that up. You either do it or you don't. And so it kind of gives you okay, I'll do it, I'm not quite sure about it, but I'll give it a go. So a session like this looks like people will come down. If it's nice weather, we'll head out into the round pen, and we'll put the horse at liberty, which means the horse hasn't got any halter on, they're free to run around. And then we start by just picking normally the earliest memory that kind of gives you a bit of discomfort. And from that, the questions start flowing. And the rest of the session is very individualistic. It really depends on what that person brings, how the conversation flows, what the horse gives. But hopefully, like I say, most people walk away at least very minimum feeling released a lot lighter and making some really nice changes in their life. So that's kind of that session. So that's the summary. A very brief cappuccino-inspired rabbiting on the 3 ways horses can heal. Now there is tons more. Literally, I could stand here for a week and talk to you guys, but I thought your bums will be getting numb at some point. So, is there any questions? There's a lot of information in it. So, benefits some people gain. The main one is relief. People walk away, even if it's for the next 2 hours, where they just feel like they've taken a breath for the first time. The weight's been lifted off their shoulders. They're able to just share whatever's been their problem for quite some time, and hopefully go away with a solution and some new skills and tools that they can use to kind of start creating and making changes so that no longer affects them. So other people have commented benefits on overcoming fear, self-confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, communication, social skills, empowerment, responsibility, self-awareness, respect, decision-making. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I was first learning to be around horses, decisions were a nightmare. I think, well, I'll do this, but I'll do this. And horses really sharpen that up. You either do it or you don't. And so it kind of gives you okay, I'll do it, I'm not quite sure about it, but I'll give it a go. So a session like this looks like people will come down. If it's nice weather, we'll head out into the round pen, and we'll put the horse at liberty, which means the horse hasn't got any halter on, they're free to run around. And then we start by just picking normally the earliest memory that kind of gives you a bit of discomfort. And from that, the questions start flowing. And the rest of the session is very individualistic. It really depends on what that person brings, how the conversation flows, what the horse gives. But hopefully, like I say, most people walk away at least very minimum feeling released a lot lighter and making some really nice changes in their life. That's kind of that section. So that's the summary. A very brief cappuccino-inspired everything on the 3 ways horses can heal. Now there is tons more. Literally, I could stand here for a week and talk to you guys, but I thought your bums will be getting numb at some point. So, is there any questions?